Hey guys, welcome back to another review video. I'm starting today's video in a different room because I just don't have enough space to put the 4 boxes together and to record the video in my usual work desk. And also, this is just to give you guys a quick heads up on what to expect to see on my Tamiya race car build project in 2025. Obviously, I will still be continuing the build of my rock crawlers, the Gundam, the third-party Gundam, as well as the 1-18 and 1-12 scale model cars review. So you'll still be seeing all of those different videos on my channel. But in today's video, I will be focusing on one of Tamiya's most popular RC kit, which is the TT-02. So the TT-02 comes with a lot of different bodies, and I particularly like the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution V, and you can see I've got 2 of them. Some of you guys probably have a lot of TT-02 in your collection, as well as the previous TT-01 or TT-01E as well. I do happen to have 2 TT-01E in the past, one being the Subaru Impreza rally cars and the other one being the Mercedes race truck, but they are well used and they are just not in their best condition. But I'm sure I will be showing you guys in the nearest future video. But now I have this kit in brand new form, so I will be showing you guys what to expect inside the box, as well as what my plan is for the first one. So the first one, my intention is to try and keep the TT-02 as stock as possible with minimal of hop-up or upgrade parts. And I'll be using the stock ESC and the torque motor that comes with the kit. The second one, I will be putting more option parts, so it gives me more freedom of tuning the toe in, toe out, the camber, etc. And I'll be putting a brushless motor in the second TT-02. The TRF421 is my latest race car. Basically, I will be taking these cars for Tamiya Cup race in 2025 in different regions within UK. I probably will be taking the TRF421 to attend most of the Tamiya Cup race. This TRF421 is a chassis kit. Majority of the parts are made in carbon fiber and aluminium, and this kit is not cheap in the UK. If you Google the price for this kit in the UK, it might surprise you guys, honestly. Whereas the TT-02, they are relatively cheap to pick up. One of this is probably close to 8 of these in terms of the price comparison. And you know, looking at this one particular TT-02, it comes with the ESC and motor and a body, and also wheel and tires. The TRF421 only come with the chassis, nothing else. So you still need to buy the wheels, the tires, all the electronics, the body, the receiver, controller, etc, etc. So start from the beginning. I will be taking you guys through the TT-02, and then we'll build the second one, and then we'll move on to the 421, a little bit more advanced. So I hope you guys will enjoy the journey, and without further ado, I'm going to take you guys back to my work desk and we'll take a look at the TT-02. And we are back on my work desk with the Tamiya TT-02 RC kit. So before I start talking about the TT-02, I have a confession to make. Basically, originally my plan wasn't to record this video because I plan to take my buggy to the local track to race around. I actually have charged up all the batteries, as well as preparing all the spare wheels and tires to bash around. But unfortunately, with the UK unpredictable and yet predictable wet weather, it is currently pouring down with rain, and I could see the front of my house is already starting to flood. But don't worry, the water will go down the drain really quickly, so don't worry about me. And here we are. We're talking about the TT-02, which is one of Tamiya's most popular and most successful RC kit in the market. The TT-02 have actually been released 10 or more than 10 years ago, and you probably find a lot of different bodies on the TT-02 chassis, and the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution V being one of my favorite Lancer Evolution series, and that's the reason why I have decided to buy this twice. And actually, on the day when I was buying this kit, I was with two of my other friends, and we all have a special love towards Mitsubishi 5 and 6. And since the Evolution 6 is not available from the TT-02 kit, so we have to make do with the Evolution 5, and each of us have taken 2 of the Evo 5 out from the shop, so that's 6 in total that has been sold from the supplier. And if you guys have been online shopping for the Mitsubishi Evolution 5 kit since Christmas time, and you probably have noticed the 2 largest RC supplier in the UK, you are not able to get this Evolution 5 in stock, because we pretty much clear 6 of them right before Christmas. And with the lead time, I think the next available batch will be sometime in mid-March, or second week of March at least. So sorry about that. We have taken 6 out of the UK market, and we all have the similar plan of keeping 1 in stock form, and the other one, we'll see what we could do in terms of modifying with the option parts to give us better tuning, since we'll be running faster motors underneath the body. But with the TT-02, it's been out for 10 years. It is still ongoing and it's going strong. And you will still be able to buy the previous version, which is the TT-01, or you see it now as TT-01E. And there's still quite a few models that you'll be able to buy. I have TT-01E twice before. One, as I mentioned earlier, which is the Subaru Impreza rally car and the Mercedes truck. And the TT-02, this one is actually my second and third TT-02. My first TT-02 was actually the Ford Escort body, and I've been playing with that Ford Escort TT-02 for, can't remember how many years now, probably 5 or 6 years, and the condition is not great. And I just want to show you guys the kit from brand new form, but no doubt you see the Ford Escort at some point in my later video. And I also have another Subaru Impreza rally car, which is the expert build release on the nitro fuel version, and I still have that in my garage. I just need to take it out. I haven't run the engine for God knows how many years. I actually have the expert build Subaru when I was in uni. Back then I used to run that nitro fueled Subaru Impreza quite a lot, but I haven't touched that for ages. I'm not sure if the engine would still run. And speaking of which, I also have another nitro fueled car, which is the HPI Savage XL. I think that has got 2 speed a high and low speed thing, and that thing is really loud. If I get a chance in the future, I will show you guys the big truck as well. I mean, if you guys have been following me for quite a long time, some of my earlier release video, it has a quick intro video. In the intro, you will see that Savage XL nitro car in the video. So if you haven't seen it, take a look. If not, then just wait until next time when I bring it out to show you guys. It is massive. But anyway, coming back to the TT-02, this kit, it comes with the Tamiya torque tune motor, and it also comes with the electric speed controller, which is the ESC. So when you buy this TT-02 kit, I think there is an option to buy one just with the motor without the ESC. I'm not sure if there is actually a version where you just buy the chassis without motor or ESC. I'm not sure, but the one here, actually both of the TT-02 that I have purchased recently, they both come with the torque tune motor and the ESC. So you still need to buy the rest of the electronics, like the servo, the receiver, and obviously you have your own transmitter, etc. And obviously you need to buy the battery as well, and also the body. You will need to buy the Tamiya PS paint to spray paint it from the inside. But let's try and take a look at this box art. So a very nice Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution V, and this is a ready to assemble radio control model kit. Already mentioned that this comes with the motor and the ESC. So on the side, it's just another photo of the Evo 5. On the opposite side, it's just TT-02 with some bullet points. On the underside, you can see the TT-02 chassis. Obviously, it doesn't come with the battery, but everything else is pretty much included in this kit. And the radio control 4-wheel drive high performance racing car with the hex nuts, which is plastic. And on the top side, you can see TT-02 chassis shaft driven 4-wheel drive, and then there are some optional upgrade, as well as the electronics that you will need to buy separate to this kit, mainly the 2-channel transmitter. You need the batteries to run the car, you need the receiver, you need the servo for the steering. The ESC is already included in this kit, but check with your supplier to make sure your kit also comes with the ESC and the torque tune motor. If you buy the TT-02D, which is the drift version, that comes with the sport tune motor, as well as other hops up like the oil fill shocks, and there's some other bits I can't remember. But the TT-02D kit actually comes with slightly more hop up rather than the standard TT-02, but then you have to pay more for it as well. And then the last two things on the bullet points, you need the battery pack as well as the battery charger, obviously. And let's take a look at what's inside the box. So very quickly, I will pull the cover out and I'll just leave it in the background. So first thing, you will see the ESC provided by Tamiya. So this one, it looks like a Hobbywing 1060 ready to run ESC. They have provided you with some of the double-sided tape. There is a instruction sheet, and the 2-round plug to the Tamiya motor, and the Tamiya plugged to the battery. You have the plug to go onto the receiver and on off switch, and the ESC itself, you can see there are 2 jumpers at the top left corner. So the top one is to set whether the car would go forward, brake, and then reverse, or forward and brake only, which is what you will have to set to for Tamiya Cup race, or the last one, which is forward and immediate reverse. And the bottom jumper is basically to set whether you're using a LiPo battery or nickel metal hydride. So that's what it is. Second bag, which has a lot of goodies. I will open this in just a sec, but I'll put this on the side for now. Next, you have runner H. So this is the rear spoiler or rear wing. There is a air scoop for the roof, I believe, but I can't see it on the sticker, so I think that's optional. And then you have the 2 side mirrors as well. So these are in white runner, so you will have to airbrush it to whatever color you desire. Next, we have the Lancer body, and you can see the wheel arches are already pre-cut, which is very nice because it's always quite difficult to get that wheel arch perfectly smooth. Cutting the front bumper, the side skirt, and below the bumper, these are relatively easy. We just need to take our time with it. And with the body, you can see the body post hole are already pre-drilled, and same as for the rear wing, so they are all pre-drilled. Very nice. And even the side mirror, you can see the holes is there as well. So with the Lancer body, what you need to do is to give it a good wash with warm soapy water, dry it, and then you attach the masking tape for the window, which is provided in the TT-02 kit, and then you can airbrush or spray paint with the Tamiya PS paint. And once it's dried, you can peel back the top layer, and then the body will be very glossy, and then you can apply your decals as well. So that's the Evo 5 body. Next, we have the foam bumper for the front. This kit only provided you with one, which is for the front. So if you want to fit one at the rear end, you will have to buy it separate. And alternatively, you can buy the 3D printed front bumper as well. You will find them on online store or eBay. But with the foam, I think this is lighter than the 3D print. Next, you have the metallic silver color wheel, twin spoke, as you can see from the cover, for the Mitsubishi Evo 5. So you get 4 of them. And of course, you have the tires to go with the wheels. So these are just tires. There's no insert, so you might want to buy the insert yourself if you are running the stock Tamiya wheel. I will consider whether I will be using this, because I already have kind of pre-glued wheels available that I might be able to use, and I'll take a look later on. Next, you have the top chassis. It's quite sturdy. So normally you will find the stamp like here. So you can see it's 2013 Tamiya, and the left 2 circle kind of tells you what month and what date it was manufactured. But most importantly, the 3rd circle here, you can see the arrow is pointed to ABS, which is the material for this top chassis. And you also have ABS CF, which is ABS mixed with carbon fiber, and ABS GF, which is ABS mixed with glass fiber. So those two would be the slightly harder chassis compared to this one, which is just the ABS chassis. So it depends on how you're going to run your TT-02. You might want to kind of upgrade your top chassis to the carbon fiber mixed or the glass fiber mixed chassis. It's entirely up to you. Here you have runner A. So you have the, I believe these are the steering links. So those are the towers for the suspension or the shocks. And then you have the rear upright, the front knuckle. Here you have the front and rear differential housing, and the brake disc thing. They are the hex hub. So you attach that directly with your wheel. Well, on the opposite side of this, you will see the hex, which will fit perfectly onto this hex. So you get 2 of those runners. They are identical. Next you have runner B. So here you have the suspension arm. So you have the front bumper mount, the one for the rear. You have more suspension arms, one there as well, and one on the side. And you have the shocks. That's the shock tower, shock caps. And you have those spacer as well. So you could use this to preset the loading or the spring load. And bear in mind, these are just standard friction shocks. So there's only like the coil or the spring that will give you the suspension travel. You can't do oil-filled damper. It's not available on this. You have to buy the oil-filled damper separately. So you have 2 of those runners. Next, we have this bag, which is a little bit heavier because this has a mixture of ABS and metal. So here you have the cups for each of the wheels, front axle and rear axle. And you also have the propeller cups. There's 2 there, one at the front, one at the rear. And then the actual propeller shaft or the drive shaft is here. There's actually 2 of them, and this is just plastic. So if you're running a stronger motor, it is better to change this to aluminium, because the plastic one, they do twist. So fairly heavy part. Next we have runner D. So you have the motor mount, you have the bit for the servo horn, and you have some hacked nuts. If you decided not to use the one with the attached brake disc, you could just use the hacks. Here you have the receiver box with the Tamiya logo, and you have the mount for the motor. So here you can mount a cooling fan, and you get the duct air into the motor if you're not fitting the fan. And you have the limiter for your steering, and this is the cover for your pinion gear and spur gear, and this one is your battery strap. So you fit your LiPo or metal or nickel metal hydride battery, and you fasten the battery in with this brace. And what else? I think that's all the parts. Next we have some paperwork. And the instruction to show you how to cut out the Lexan body, how to prepare it, and adding the masking tape, how to airbrush it or spray paint, and then where to apply the stickers or decals, and how to attach the side mirror and the rear wing, and how to set the body post. You have the plastic tube for the antenna as well, and you have the TT-02 installation guide. So you follow this instruction to build your TT-02 chassis. All the TT-02, regardless of what model, will have this same installation guide. But if you have the TT-02D, then the manual will be a different one. And also the TT-02 buggy version, you'll have a different menu. So here, just have a quick look. It shows you how to set the motor gearing as well, with all the different ratio, depend on what pinion gear and the spur gear you're using. It's all very informative. There is a checklist for all the parts that you should expect to find inside this kit. And another thing that I really like about Tamiya installation guide is a lot of the parts, they are drawn in 1:1 scale. So you could just put the part or the screw right next to the drawing, and you will know exactly which screws or parts they are referring to. And it is throughout the installation. So for example, stage or step 25, you will need MB1 and MB3 and MB6. So you will know the exact screw to use. And also you can see the color different as well. That's being the black or darker screw. That's the normal silver color screw. It's very cool. And another thing which is pretty cool for the TT-02 kit is, even though you see this is one chassis, you actually can have multiple options in terms of building the chassis. By using the suspension arm, you can flip it face up or face down, and you can actually set the chassis to be 257mm wheelbase or 251 shorter wheelbase. And likewise, you could swap the knuckle or the upright, and that will determine whether you would set the chassis closer to the ground or with the higher clearance if you are planning to build it as a rally car. And also you can use the hex nuts with the higher offset to push out the wheels, so the chassis would become wider and more stable. So those combinations are very cool. So it's entirely up to you on how to set up your TT-02 chassis. And lastly, you have this. So you can see the masking sticker for the windscreen, front, rear, the side, and you also have some warning labels to stick on the chassis, as well as some other stickers for the body, the window trimmed, the air vents, the intercooler, the door handle. These might be the color correction sticker for the rear wing, and then you have the Evolution 5 stickers to attach in front of the rear wheel arch, and then some Mitsubishi Lancer logo as well, some indicators, brake lights, more brake light, headlight, the rally style fog lamp. It's all there. So on these, well, they are not water slide, so these are just standard decals, so you have to cut each and every single decal out before attaching to the body, so it will take some time, but the end result is very rewarding. And that's it. That's everything inside the TT-02 box with all of the different runners. So what I will do next is to show you guys something extra. So although this is the first TT-02 out of the two that I've shown you earlier in the video, actually I still haven't shown you guys what's inside this bag. So this one, as you can see, it comes with the Tamiya torque tune motor. There are some coil springs for the friction shocks. Tell you what, I'm going to open this so we can have a better look. So the motor, you can see the two bullet plugs that goes directly to the ESC, and then this is your Mitsubishi RS540 can torque tune motor by Tamiya. So this is a brushed motor. Next you have some cable ties. There are some different type of screws, some shims or washers, some pins, and what are these? The bigger rings. So they are the pins for mounting the Lexan body, and then there are more different length screws and hex nuts. So Tamiya being Tamiya, the RC kit comes with the screw with the JIS, which is the Japanese Industrial Standard cross screw. So make sure you find the right screwdriver to drive these screws into the chassis. Otherwise you might end up rounding the head very quickly. But I won't be using them because I already have purchased the hex screw, which is what I preferred. So I won't be using these hardware. So next is the bag B. So it was bag C earlier. So bag B, you have the spring, you have the wrench for the hex screw. There's some foam with double-sided tape, and then there's more hardware. They're all JIS screw, and this bag has more double-sided tape, and there's more pins, possibly for the battery, and more screws and shims in here. And then in this bag, these are your spur gear, the diff housing, the actual diff case, and then you have all the differential gears all on this runner G, and that's 2 runner G. And here you have the bushing and the plastic, well, it's just plastic bushing and the copper bushing. I won't be using these either because I've bought my own ball bearings, which are better, smoother, and last longer as well. And here you have the servo horn, the servo saver, and the very last bag, which is bag A. You have the Tamiya grease, you have the pinion gear, some hardware, Allen key, and I believe this is for the slipper clutch. What else? Well, that's everything inside the hardware pack. So I'll just quickly put all of these back in, and then I will show you some of the additional parts that I have purchased for the TT-02 kit. So I'll leave this box in the background and I'll show you what else I have purchased in addition to the TT-02 kit. As I mentioned, this one will have the minimal hop-up parts to be fitted because I want to use this as a stock car to attend Tamiya Cup race. I probably will need to keep it as original as possible with all the running plastic parts for the competition. But even though if it's running the stock torque tune motor, I still think it is necessary to change out some of the plastic parts to the aluminium parts. One thing being the servo horn. I don't like the plastic servo saver. They're weak, and if you're putting a stronger servo, it's much better to get a aluminium servo horn. They're not that expensive to buy. If you are buying a high torque servo, it is better to pair it with aluminium servo horn. The plastic servo saver is only good if you're using some cheap servo or the very old-fashioned servo, whereby the gear inside are plastic because it's easy to strip the gear, whereas the newer servo or the stronger ones with metal gears, using this aluminium servo horn will be a better combination. And then next, as I mentioned, I won't be using the plastic or copper bushing because I have bought the whole set to fit the TT-02 bearings. So these would run very smoothly and it would last a lot longer than the plastic bushing. So it is a must-have if you are planning not to keep the TT-02 as a shelf queen. If you intend to run it, make sure you add your own ball bearings. And another thing that I mentioned earlier, the TT-02 RC kit only comes with friction shocks, which means it's literally just a bit of plastic with the spring inside. You can't put oil in it. So it is good to pick up a set of the oil-filled damper. So you can buy the plastic version of the oil-filled damper. Tamiya make them. They're not too expensive. They are pretty durable, and the oil, they don't leak. I actually have the Tamiya oil damper installed in my XB Nitro Fuel Subaru Impreza before. But for the TT-02, I just decided to just buy the fast track aluminium version of the oil damp shocks. So this one you will have to add oil yourself, and it comes with the hardware as well. And then next, what I think is essential but is not a must-have if you are planning just to run the TT-02 with the torque motor or the sport tune motor. The standard plastic propeller shaft or the dry shaft is more than enough. But if you're planning to upgrade the motor to a 17.5 or 13.5 or 10.5 turn motor or brushless motor, then I can strongly recommend you to change out the propeller shaft to a aluminium one. This one is just one of the example that you will be able to find, and this is made by Tamiya 54501 aluminium propeller shaft. It is a lot thinner but stronger than the standard propeller shaft in plastic, and this has a nice Tamiya logo on it. And when you're changing the propeller shaft, it makes sense to buy the aluminium propeller joint as well, which is 54502, with a small O-ring as well to fit at the front end of the propeller joint. I won't recommend you to just change the propeller shaft and attach this to the standard Tamiya propeller joint, which is the black plastic with a bit of metal sticking out from the other end. If you're changing the propeller shaft, make sure you get the aluminium propeller joint so those two work together. So I can strongly recommend you to get this if you're planning to change out to a faster motor. And another optional hop-up is to change out all of those standard Tamiya JIS screw, which is cross screw in Japanese industrial standard, to the hack screw. So these you can just run your standard hack screwdriver, and these are stronger and it is less likely to round the head You don't have to change the standard JIS screw that come with the kit, but you know, it is my personal preference to change to the hex screw, and these are titanium screw as well, so they are stronger. Strongly recommend these. And last but not least, the tires. You could use the ones that come with the kit, which is plastic wheels with the rubber tire, but Tamiya, they didn't supply you with the foam insert, and also you will need to glue the wheel to the tire yourself with, let me show you, with one of the tire glue, similar to this Traxxas one tire glue. You have to glue the tire yourself, and alternatively you can just find this online. So Fast Track, they make them, and same as Asima. So these are pre-glued. You can buy the slick racing tire or the one with the tread pattern. So these are just some example for your reference. So these are already pre-glued, and they do have foam insert as well. And that's what I would recommend you to get if you are planning to at least run your TT-02 chassis, regardless of, you know, running a fast motor or a standard torque tune or sport tune motor. You know, I know we all would run the stock motor for a little while before we'll get bored and we would like to upgrade the motor to a much faster one. And if that is the case, then you would definitely need to change the propeller shaft with the propeller joint, and you will need a stronger servo. So you can install a standard size servo, or like this one, this is a lower profile servo. So it is entirely up to you. This is just an example, and obviously pair it with the aluminium servo horn rather than using the plastic servo saver. And a must-have is the metal ball bearings. You can use the plastic bushing, but very quickly they will wear out and you will find the TT-02 not running smoothly like when it was new. So this is a must-have if you're planning to run your TT-02. And oil-filled suspension coil or suspension shocks. These are essential. I don't think anyone would like to run the standard friction shocks. As a shelf queen, maybe, you know, as you can't see it, you don't really see how it performs, but with the standard friction shocks, if you just kind of dropped your TT-02 from a small distance, you will see the car just bounce, because all it has is just a spring acting as the suspension rather than having the oil-filled damper to absorb the vibration. So if you do plan to raise your TT-02, definitely get a set of the oil-filled damper. It doesn't have to be the aluminium one. You can buy the plastic one. They are a lot cheaper. Hex screw, entirely up to you. Some people prefer to keep everything kind of box stock, so, and they have the correct JIS screwdriver, then, you know, they're happy to use the JIS screw provided by Tamiya. Or if you're like myself, prefer the screw that is made in titanium and has the hex screw head, then get one of these as well. Tires is just optional, you don't really need them if you're planning to just run it in the park at low speed with the stock motor. With a faster motor, or what do you call it, the 10.5 turn, 13.5 turn, 17.5 turn 20.5 turn, etc. Those motors you definitely want to have better glued tire, otherwise the tire is going to come off the wheel very quickly. So I think I have rambled enough about the TT-02, and I hope you guys enjoyed this unboxing video with the potential option parts. And next I think I will spend some time just to build up the chassis, just to show you guys with the progress, and then I'll kind of tell you what I will be doing in terms of the legs and body, and then I'll be putting those hop-up parts as well. So hopefully that video will be released fairly quickly, and if the weather is nice, I will make sure I will record some running footage as well. And then after that, I will be building the second TT-02 of the Evolution 5 again, and this time it will be a different body color and with the kind of full option parts and the much faster brushless motor on the second one. And essentially I will move on to the Tamiya TRF421 chassis build as well. So stay tuned if you're interested in the Tamiya touring car race series, and hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are deciding whether to get a TT-02 kit, then I can strongly recommend this. I mean, I have the TT-01E as well as the TT-02 before. I like it. It is a good running chassis, a lot of potential for you to upgrade the inside within the chassis, as well as you could change the body shell as well. You can change the motor, the pinion gear, spur gear to make the car go really fast, and you know, get yourself familiar with the TT-02, get used to the driving before you move on to the kind of mid-range chassis similar to the TA-08 Pro or TA-08R. Those are the more advanced kind of professional grade touring car racing chassis. And then you obviously have the Tamiya TRF 420X or 421, the latest one, which is the kind of top of the range touring car chassis kit. But you know, we just have to work from the basic and work our way up and get ourselves familiar with the touring car, and it's more fun that way. So enough said. If you guys like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and continue to follow my channel, and go out and get yourself one of the TT-02 chassis. You might not be able to find the Evolution 5 in the next few weeks, but there are also other body available on the TT-02 chassis that you will be able to find, or eBay. You probably can find the Evolution 5 as well, but you might have to pay a little bit more than the retail price. But strongly recommend the TT-02 if you are starting to you know, with the touring car race series. Definitely start with the TT-02 or TT-01E. They are a very solid foundation chassis kit to work towards the mid-range and then the high-end touring car race car. Anyway, enough from me. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now, guys.